spoke prior to the Red Bulls game about how they've been able to start the same top six pretty much for the last 18 months. And conversely, do you think that that's been part of what you guys have struggled with, that lack of continuity and developing that kind of balance and chemistry?
Well, obviously we've had different players in now the lineup a little bit because of injuries for sure, and just because of the change in our team. So, at this stage, there's not the same continuity as there is where you've had a group, like when Clinton and Oba were here, they had a lot of games together. So there's obviously continuity there.
And sort of it's with a significant caveat that you never really have everybody at your disposal. But do you guys think that you have a pretty good idea on where you guys would be at with a full strength 11? Do you have a picture in your mind, and is it clearer than what you had before the season?
That's obviously you have an idea as to what your best 11 is, and how it would look, and obviously if you can get them on the field, you think they can play well. At the end of the day, though, games always come down to who scores the most goals, and you can't predict that. You can't go back, and I never try and think of it that way. If we had this or we had that, we just got to focus on New York City in this game, and we got to keep accumulating points to end up where we want to be, which is in the playoffs.
And what does New York City bring?
Obviously a veteran team with guys like Villa and Pirlo, and I don't know if they're going to bring a Lampard or not. Sometimes they try and avoid those guys playing on turf. But they're a veteran team. They play in a similar 4-3-3 as the Red Bull do, and their last 4 games have been at home. So hopefully them going away from home is going to present some problems to them.
Any thoughts on when Clinton will come back based on him playing this weekend?
I imagine most of the guys will return home on Sunday. I don't think they're going to fly east to watch the final. So it's good that their last game's on the West Coast, or at least on the west side here, and so I imagine they'll come back on Sunday.
Obviously this is their second season, but do you see any similarities or particular differences in the way that New York chose to build themselves from you guys in your first couple of years?
Every team's going to go about their own situation. We got confidence early in our first year, got some good results early, and we were able to build upon that. I think we also, the club did a good job in the expansion draft before I got here. We had some players out of that draft that significantly contributed. Again, Zakawani, did well as a rookie coming out of the regular draft, adding Keller, adding Lundberg, and then right at the beginning of the season we felt there was a little bit of a hole at center back. And Adrian was really good, and we worked hard, and we're able to bring in 3 center backs, and so I think that solidified us. So if anything, I think we were able to solidify ourselves in the back. With James Riley, you had a player who'd been in the league. With Tyrone Marshall, you had another veteran presence. John Kennedy Hurtado then was a great athlete. Who had experience out of Colombia. So and then at left back it was sometimes different people, but Tyson Wall was out there, quite a bit as well, and so that group sort of, and Zach Scott played out there. That group was pretty solid defensively.
Back in those days, when y'all were this very successful expansion team, we asked you a lot about what y'all had been able to do that no one was able to do until then. Is it becoming almost more of a tribute to what you guys accomplished that there have been several rounds of expansion and nobody's kind of duplicated the Sounders' success?
Well, I don't think anybody really appreciates, as fully, what we did at that time. I think at the moment you're going through it, it's like, what was a line a player used once with me? It was, you can't appreciate a character building moment when you're in the middle of it. So it was like, it's a little bit like that. When you're in the middle of it and we're having that success early on, people maybe don't really appreciate how hard it was or how significant of an achievement it was. I think now when you look back and you see all the other expansion teams that have come into the league, you realize, that we did pretty well. Us being able to maintain our status of being a playoff team every year, Again, you got veteran teams. There's not many teams that have had runs as long as ours right now. We don't want that run to end, by any stretch of the imagination. But again, that's something that I don't know if people truly understand it. You can be up and down, and there's clubs that have been up and down in our league that have been in the playoffs, and in the following year are not in the playoffs, and then all of a sudden they win something, and but they're up and down. And from day one of the things that Adrian, really wanted, and Joe Roth as the owners, at day one, they wanted us to be a team that put out a consistently good product, and I think we've done that, and we'll continue to work towards that, and we'll get that done this year as well.
And Coach, you're within 5 points of a playoff spot. Is that something you emphasize to your team, that you're really not out of it? The second season's just starting?
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that in that way yet. What we're really focusing on right now is maximizing our points at home. So when we play at home, we want to maximize our points. So this game for us on Saturday is a big game. We want to get the 3 points out of that. And then we'll think about the Open Cup game. Then we'll think about Toronto. But it's really all about maximizing our points at home. If we can maximize our points at home, we'll achieve our goal.
What have you seen from Jovan on the wing, and is that a potential full-time role for him for you guys going forward?
It depends. For right now, I think Remig's come on, did well at left back. Like I said, we still got guys. Clint's been out. We got guys coming off of injuries and coming back, and so it just made sense to put Jovan up there. He's had a couple of good bench appearances in that position in the Open Cup, and also in the game in DC. So, I think he'll agree that his last game he would have wanted to have done more, and I think he will do more with other opportunities. But he's still a guy who can play left back, and but he's also a guy who can go up on the wing for us.
And asking an earlier question a different way, do you think that you have a better, or a more significantly better read on where all your guys fit in this new formation than you did at the outset of the season?
Always, time always gives you some answers, and we've been able to play around and tweak it. But like I've always said, any formation really changes depending on the personnel that you have out there. So you're playing a 4-3-3, but if you play with Andreas out there, it maybe looks a little different in midfield than if you're playing with Clint out there. So it's but that's all. Trying to get players just into spots on the field where they can best use their talents.
Saturday is the first full stadium match of the year, and with the second annual Pride match as well. Does that add to the significance of a victory for you guys?
Yeah, we're always excited when it's full stadium matches, and we'd like the opportunity to play in front of more fans, and so hopefully more and more people will still buy tickets and come out there, because I know it's not completely full yet for sure, and obviously we'd like to get it as close to full as possible. The significance of the Pride weekend is obviously been enhanced with what's occurred in Orlando, and I think it's fantastic of our club and our community to be supportive of this game from that respect, and also to be supportive of what has gone on in our country, because we're a melting pot, not only of nationalities but of different backgrounds and different interests, and for sure it's something that we have to appreciate and acknowledge and always respect.